Hey friend, Chris Vandeviver here from WhyLogicProRules.com, the website that helps you get the most you can out of Apple's Logic Pro 10. Today, in our 30-day series of Why Logic Pro Rules, I want to show you all the different ways that you can drag and drop around Logic. In the last several years, drag and drop has become an increasing part of the DAW workflow. Because if you're able to drag and drop audio files or regions into instruments or into plugins, it just makes life so much easier. And drag and drop is becoming increasingly a part of Logic Pro 10. Now, most of this has come about with the most recent major update of 10.5, but still, it's well worth examining. And so I'm going to show you a handful of ways that you can drag and drop, and it might be in some areas that you don't expect. To start with, we've always been able to drag and drop into our projects from the browsers or the Mac Finder. If I open the browsers using key Command F, and if we navigate to all files here, I just have a random array of claps. If I just click and drag, I can just drop it right into the project. Additionally, I can go to the Media tab and pick a song that maybe I want to reference and just drag and drop it. And boom, we're ready to go. And this works just as well from your Mac's Finder. So if we navigate to the desktop here, and I'll just pick a loop to choose from, we can just drag it right in. And as I demonstrated in one of my earlier videos on the integrations of Logic with your Mac system, let's open something like the voice memos. And I can just drag a random audio file from voice memos. That's freaking awesome. Or we could even drag and drop into the notes section in Logic. So let's now navigate to this icon that I've found. Boom, we're good to go. And like that, you can just drag and drop images, text directly in here. And actually, I just learned from a reader named CK. So CK, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention because I had no idea. But you can actually insert from your iPhone or iPad, which is something I wish I had covered in the integration video. But still, this is amazing. You can go directly to your iPhone or iPad wirelessly and take a photo, scan doc, add sketch, whatever. That's so awesome. But moving forward, these are all things that I think we're pretty used to. You can even drag and drop within the mixer where you're able to drag and drop a plugin. Or if you hold Option, click and drag, you can copy and paste the plugin across different channel strips. But digging into the meat of drag and drop that now is available in Logic, we can drag and drop not just audio files, but regions as well into instruments, into plugins, and just get right to work in creating in Logic Pro 10. And it doesn't matter the style of region either. It could be drummer, it could be step sequencer, it could be a software instrument region. Let's just, for example, take this drummer region here and let's take a quick listen to what it sounds like. Perfect. Let's click and drag it over to the track header area. And we have various options ranging from Quick Sampler to Drum Machine Designer to Alchemy. And if we just drop it into Quick Sampler Optimized, and check it out, it's going to bounce the region in place, including the plugins that were processing that track. And now it's been implemented in this sample here. And so let's open the musical typing and just check it out. That's so awesome. And you can even slice it up and go from there. But it's not just dragging into the track header area. You can actually drag and drop directly into these sampler instruments now. So let's take this step sequencer region and just drag and drop it into Optimized. Once again, Logic bounces the region and burns all of the processing into the region. And now, just switch it to the classic mode. Now let's make sure to select our track here. So cool. Let's do the same thing with Alchemy, but instead of the track header area, let's bust open an instance of Alchemy. Let's make sure to go to File, initialize the preset, so we are starting from a blank slate. And let's take this tubular synth region. Let's take a listen to what that sounds like. Craziness. And then we can pick between additive or a sampler, spectral, granular. Check it out. Bounces in place. And just like that, we now have an instrument that we can play. And you can mangle that sound to your heart's content. Additionally, we can do the same thing with the new sampler. So let's bring in an instance of sampler, and I'll just use the same track. We'll go to multi-sample sampler, open the mapping section, and I'm going to select all of these regions and just drag them in. Now, there's a couple different areas you can drag in. We have chromatic, and I've dug into all of this in my sampler video, which I'll link in this video. We have optimized, or you can just drag onto the keys here. So let's do that. Logic bounces all of these regions in place, places them on the keys, so we have different zones now. Check it out. And now let's do the same thing with Drum Machine Designer. And we're going to do this from two different areas. We're going to do it from the Finder and also from the browser. So let's start with the browser, go to All Files. And I have a series of claps here. You can hear that. So let's select these 12, drag it into the track header area here, and go to Drum Machine Designer. And now Logic is going to create a new instance of Drum Machine Designer with all of our claps. Check it out. Which that one sounds awesome. And let's do the same thing with these first 12. So I'm going to open a new instance of Drum Machine Designer. And let's just set this to an empty channel strip. Open the library, electronic drum kit, and we'll look for the empty drum kit here. Boom. And let's open the instrument, go to these files, drag them right in. And they're going to be applied from the bottom left-hand corner, going right up each row. And just like that, we have all of our samples loaded into Drum Machine Designer. That is awesome. Now, some areas that I'm sure that people aren't aware of is that you can actually drag and drop directly into the Retro Synth and the Match EQ. So let's load the Retro Synth here. And Retro Synth offers wavetable synthesis. And you can drag and drop right within here. Now, we have a couple different options from factory that you can pick different sounds. But we can drag and drop directly into this. So let's select, I'm just going to try any one of these. Unfortunately, we couldn't create a wavetable because the audio file has to have a constant pitch or several pitch sections separated by silence. So let's see what else we could use. Try this out. Boom, our wavetable has been created. So let's check this out and see what it sounds like. Cool, so you can go to town with your custom table. But let's do the same thing with the Match EQ. Now, I love the Match EQ, and I don't know of a single other DAW that offers Match EQing facilities just built right in. I mean, this is something that you pay like big bucks for, like the FabFilter Pro Q3. And what the Match EQ does is it allows us to take a sound, have Match EQ analyze that sound, and then try to match that sound to the tonality of a different sound. So we're like EQing a guitar to another guitar patch or a guitar to a drum sound or whatever. Usually you're trying to match two signals that are similar but not quite the same because maybe you recorded guitar today and then 2 weeks from now. And so the tonality is slightly different because of mic placement or maybe you didn't get the same exact amp tone or whatever the case may be. And typically we would have to have Match EQ listen and learn to the track that it's placed on and then listen and learn to a reference track using the sidechain. Or you could drag audio files into each tab. But what rules now is that you can just drag regions directly onto the tab. So let's take this drum kit and drag it onto the current tab. Cool, so we've got an EQ curve for this drum kit. And let's now take this tone wheel organ, drag it onto the reference tab. Okay, so we got two totally different curves, match them. And obviously this is gonna be nutso on whatever it's placed on, but it's that easy. You don't have to sit there and hit the learn button and let the whole track play through before you can get to work with the Match EQ. And like I mentioned in my video on getting the most out of the Apple Loops library, we can also drag and drop regions into the Apple Loops library so you can create your own Apple Loops. And we'll do that with this region right here. And just like that, you're good to go. We've just discussed so many ways you can drag and drop around Logic. From finders, from browsers, into instruments, into plugins, into the track notes, across the mixer. The drag and drop functionality that's coming to Logic is making it so much easier to get to work, be creative, and just be in that creative zone and spend way less time menu diving. So I hope that was helpful for you. If it was, as always, I highly suggest subscribing to the YouTube channel, Why Logic Pro Rules, or subscribing on the website itself, whylogicprorules.com. Every week I'm posting new videos, new emails, and posts to help you get the most you can out of Apple's Logic Pro 10. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video in this series.